Welcome to the Verdin Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. You made it to Friday. Week's over. Got some LSU recruit news for you. A couple of updates. LSU baseball starts their series, and it's cold as hell in Baton Rouge. We're going to break it all down for you. Hope everybody's having a good one. As always, live Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. If you got any questions, any concerns, anything you want to talk about at all, drop it in the chat or in the comments. We'll pop you up during the stream, get you on the screen, get you involved in the discussion. So it's ironic that we've got this recruiting update 2 days after our last show where we were just talking about the future of LSU's quarterback room, the future of, life after Nussmeier, quite frankly. And I feel like Garrett Nussmeier's posed for a big season, and I think he could generate a lot of hype, a lot of buzz. And in turn, I think LSU can utilize that hype and buzz and probably bring in another top quarterback recruit, right? I mean, in terms of recruiting, in terms of at least value for positions, really the most important one that you want to bring in as a quarterback. And you can't have 2 years in a row a school not have a target recruit brought in, at least prospect-wise, in their 2025 or 2026 class. You got to make a move, man, whether it be Jonas Williams or a couple of other names that will drop here. I don't know, but you got to make a decision soon. You got to make a decision quick. Let me give a quick shout out, though, to LSU just for the overall efforts that they've been putting in, right? You see the graphic on the screen. There's only 5 programs in college football as of right now that have a top 10 recruiting and a top 10 transfer portal class. 3 of the 5 are in the SEC. One of those SEC teams is LSU. The other 2, Auburn, A&M. All right. Auburn's in a spot where they need to rebuild. I get it. A&M's throwing money at the wall, seeing what sticks. And hopefully LSU's in a spot where they're locking up and reloading. I mean, now, from the transfer portal side of things, I'm 100% pleased. I think every single area you had to scratch got scratched. From the recruiting side, obviously, heartstrings pulled a lot. That's not the class you thought you would finish with. Damn near could have had the number 1 class. Could have had Bryce Underwood. Could have, would have, should have, whatever. It's the past. That probably led to the portal being as successful as it was. I do wonder about the strategy here, because we did kind of touch on it Wednesday. I'll elaborate a little more, but in this era of NIL and recruiting, is it worth wasting your resources and your time and all this effort and energy at the beginning of the cycle when in reality, the end of the cycle is what matters the most? The end of the cycle is when the decommitments happen. And in the case of Jonas Williams, it might be another one of those situations. Top 15 quarterback committed to Oregon right now, but guess what? There's 2 other schools in the mix. You're in a race to the end if you want a quarterback, or quarterback. He's a fantastic quarterback. I watched a little bit of his film, very mobile. He can throw confidently on the run. He's a great asset, I think. Another thing is the deep ball accuracy. I was really shocked. Not necessarily shocked, but I was impressed, rather, with how he was able to string some of those together over a couple of defenders' heads, letting it rip. Yeah, he's in high school, but I mean, hey, the competition level is probably on par with his skill set as of right now at this age. So I'm going to give him some flowers. I think he's a baller. I think there's a couple of other names LSU should lock in and, potentially grab. I just need to see some type of movement at the quarterback spot. Like I said, you can't have not necessarily 2 whiffs because you didn't really have anybody at the beginning of this class, but you can't go over back-to-back recruiting cycles at the most important position. There is big fish in the water, though. I mean, I don't know how much LSU is really going to compete with the money from Eugene, Oregon, or Southern California. I mean, that's different. That's different leagues. That's the league. I mean, if you're comparing anybody's NIL efforts, the top cream of the crop, so to speak, that's them. It's the Trojans. It's the Ducks. It's the Longhorns. It's the Aggies. It's people like that. The NIL money, the NIL collective, all these things, strengthening their case for damn near any recruit. It don't matter the situation. I think really the only way LSU can compete in a sense where, money won't be involved, because I just think it's hard to catch up right now for LSU, at least to them. I mean, we're talking about the biggest programs. Can they catch up and grow? Yes, we've seen it. The $1 Million Match program, the portal efforts, we get it. But in a sense where you have to get kids to commit to you and your program and your development, you need Garrett Nussmeier to have an insane season, like I think he will. He's pretty much the best returning college football quarterback. I can't find many other quarterbacks that I think are more well-rounded than a Garrett Nussmeier. You got maybe Cade Klubnik. You got maybe Arch Manning. Then you got some other, X-Factor-esque quarterbacks that could really ball out and turn some heads. I mean, I'll throw Carson Beck out there. I know a lot of people feeling different about it, but he could have a big year. Lenore Sellers, DJ Lagway. There's only a handful of guys that I'm going to give that, I'm even going to entertain that conversation of best quarterback. But I think Nuss takes the cake. I think he's the best one. I think, like I said, the most experienced. You're now in that fifth year realm, and that's been kind of the direction college football is going in. Jaden Daniels was a similar player in that regard. Stetson Bennett had some similar instances. Jackson Dart, Matt Corral. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. The experience and the length of play for these quarterbacks, I think, is normally what kind of boosts them. So if he gets in a spot where he has a great year, top 10 draft pick, and you make LSU look like quarterback you can pitch that development to damn near any kid. And it doesn't even have to be from a quarterback standpoint, because now you're drawing in wide receivers because they're getting thrown to by the best quarterbacks. You're drawing an offensive line because they're guarding for the best quarterbacks. I mean, the list goes on and on with the effects that this can make, because you've seen it with, something as small as like a Bryce Underwood commit, how many people he was able to recruit, the DeCorian Moores, the Jaheems and the Harlan Berries. But now you're in a spot where Nussmeier, Jaden Daniels, and Joe Burrow could look like one of the deepest quarterback alumni classes in any college program. You need to leverage that. I'm not even going to say if, but more so really when Nuss balls out and he shows he's a top quarterback and LSU looks like that quarterback you spot. I think that's your platform that you have to leverage. That's your platform that you have to really preach about, because you are fighting, like I said, with the big guns, the big dogs. You got to pull out all the stops. And if you can't pull out bread, then you're going to have to show them why you can develop them into a person that can go get that bread at the NFL, at this, at that, whatever the case may be. I'm all for investing in yourself. I'm all for buying in. I'm all for all of this. I think, the development aspect in college is definitely getting lost with the NIL, and it's hard to, put yourself in those shoes and think you wouldn't make that decision, right? Realistically speaking, Bryce Underwood, what was it, 12 million, 15 million? I mean, whatever the case may be, it could be 1 million. A lot of people are taking that deal. Me, I'm a lot of people. I jump on the damn Michigan wagon. I'll be honest, that's a lot of money. The NIL aspect of college football has changed dynamics. The human mind does not always focus on the fact that you could get better and get a better deal. Sometimes people get caught up in what's happening right now. Like, that's $12 million right now. Not if, not hypothetically, not if you do X, Y, and Z. You can still get the money, hypothetically, and if you do X, Y, Z, but right now you're getting that check. Matter of fact, here's 3 M's. That changes things. That puts teams in a situation where now it's relationships. It's what can you do for me from a developmental standpoint. You really have to value all of these things here. LSU is in a spot where you could potentially leverage this. This is your leg up to combat all of the big budgets, the big banks, whatnot. Besides Jonas Williams, there are 2 other names that I have heard float around on LSU and their quarterback focus. Jake Fett, Arizona State commit, top 5 quarterback. He was just offered by LSU. That'll be interesting. It's another one of those situations, like I said, where one, your commitment is not rock solid until National Signing Day, unfortunately, in this day and age, because you got another commit potentially waiting to flip. That's 2 I've already read, and I've only, read 2 names. Now, Bo Bentley is another name, 4-star quarterback offered by LSU as well. I just think these are, I'm not going to say backup plans, because I don't know how realistic the Jonas Williams option is. If you had to get me to predict, if you had to get me to give my best guess, I think Jonas goes to Southern California. I think USC and Lincoln Riley put together an insane package to not only preach the developmental standpoint that I just talked about, but also they can pay you. They can compensate you. You're living in South California, damn near Los Angeles. You've got a pretty nice spot. Pretty hard to turn that down, similar to Carson Beck in Miami, even though he did get his car stolen. Damn. Welcome to Miami, Carson. That's tough, bro. Let's move on. Let's talk about a little special athlete here. I need to give some flowers, because everybody talks about, and rightfully so, but everybody talks about Trudez Green, the 2-sport, the football, the basketball, this, that. We need to show some love to Jelani Watkins. Track and LSU football star, 2-sport athlete, wide receiver for the Tigers, runs track. He's running 60-meter and 200-meter, and the numbers are blazing. I mean, insane. He's number 7 in LSU history in the 60-meter already. Freshman year, 6.63 time, and his 200-meter is 20.85. Can I just emphasize how insane that is? You get an athlete in their freshman year after a pretty nice season for the football team. Did he do insane amount of things? No, but he showed flashes. And he got some love from the coaching staff, so much so where I think his role now grows exponentially, even as soon as the spring. But that's where the question has to be had. How do they not allow, but how does he do both? Is it going to be one or the other? Will it be track? Will it be football? Could he do both? Because spring is not as exhausting. Plus, the time schedules are a little different. I feel like they could honestly be at opposite ends of the day. You could have a little bit of a football workout in the morning. You got your track practice / potentially a track meet. I think him doing both could prepare him for the future. I feel like, hey, lighter spring, faster fall, baby. That's how you go. You got to train, you got to grind. I think in this instance, when you're running the 60-meter that damn fast, top 7 in LSU history, you are going to have not only a huge ceiling, not only a bright future, but you don't got that many guys ahead of you in this room left. The portal guys, I'd imagine, Nick Anderson, Barry and Brown, Destin Hill, yeah, they're going to see some roles. Yeah, they're going to see some playing time. Of course, Chris Hilton. Of course, Aaron Anderson. After that, I wonder if it's going to be every man for themselves. I wonder how that wide receiver room depth is going to really shake up. Because Jelani Watkins is in a spot where if you are really that fast, where in your first meet, you becoming the number 7 all-time runner in LSU 60-meter history, Cortez Hankton's got some decisions to make. Cortez Hankton sees something. And if he's going to lab something up, scheme something up, and throw something out there, I'm going to trust it. And I'm going to honestly expect some success from it. And I think Jelani Watkins could really be one of the most successful wide receivers that we have on this team, and he's not getting enough credit. I know the two-sport athlete aspect kind of gets lost on people, but it's not just him participating in a sport. It's him getting SEC Freshman of the Week honors. It's him breaking LSU records, breaking, time records. I feel like you're in an instance where you're watching a super athlete that needs a chance, needs an opportunity. I don't know if it comes this spring, especially with him being incorporated in the track, but I think it's coming soon. We said this last year about Aaron Anderson, and I'm not trying to make it seem like, we called it. No, it happens. I think this is another similar situation, though. What I saw from Aaron Anderson in spring last year, the role, the potential, the growth, and the need that LSU had in that area, I feel like it's a similar spot right now. Do they need a smaller slot? Not necessarily. But the next man up opportunity always happens. Everybody's not 100% healthy the whole year. Somebody's going to have to come in that's a backup. Somebody's going to have to be that guy that when someone goes down, they raise their hand and get thrown out there. And Jelani Watkins, in my opinion, will be that guy. Now we're going to have to see it play out. I have a lot of praise for him. I got a lot of expectations also, because when you're running this fast and when you're a multi-sport athlete and when you're in this instance this early on and you're showing success, and I feel like you need to get tested. And I feel like they really need to see what they got in this athlete, similar to the Harold Perkins situation. I'm not upset with them throwing them at the star. Go see what you got in your best player. Go see how your best player plays in coverage, guarding a slot on a mismatch, doing this, doing that, pressuring, hard to diagnose pre-snap. Let's do it. Let's throw the kitchen sink at the situation and see what we got. Because the more you put your talent in situations that they might not have been used to, the more you see from them, the more that they learn, the more that they grow. The adversity really hits them and makes you a better football team overall. LSU football could be better from instances like this. You just got to keep adding versatility, adding layers, and adding elements to the team. Not even just offense, defense, special teams, everything across the board. That's another area. Jelani Watkins should just get thrown in the special teams mix if he's not going to get a huge role in the offense. He's got to do something. Similar to the Juwan Johnson comment I made, Juwan's got to do something. I know he's quarterback 3. I know right now there's a hypothetical rough patch if you don't have all that depth. Ricky Collins transfers. I don't know the word with Colin Hurley and his recovery. I see the vision, right? But quarterback 3 is not going to get much PT. Let him practice at quarterback every now and then, hypothetically, if he had to get in. But there needs to be a secondary role that Juwan Johnson is in, because the team will be better for it. I think these moves, these instances, all these things we're saying makes LSU an overall better football team. Let's talk about baseball. Enough football. Football will resume all that coverage on March 8th, right? Spring football practice, all your highlights. March 8th. Live streams, updates, commentary, film breakdown, all that. Stay tuned. Hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Baseball. Let's start this off first by talking about the Nichols game. It was moved from Wednesday to Monday. Now it's going to be in Baton Rouge, not Thibodaux. The one that will be in Thibodaux is in April now. They swapped because Nichols was going to come over to Baton Rouge in April, and obviously the weather played a big role into it. And let me talk through that one, right? At first, when I saw it, I kind of chuckled. I was like, man, it's too cold. It's 40-something degrees. I get it. At first, I didn't. I get it. It is cold as hell. It is blistering. It is miserable. I don't know if I'm swinging bats and pitching baseballs in that type of cool weather as well. So it makes sense. Omaha comes in this weekend. They're trying to lock in, keep the undefeated streak, stay number 2. I've been really excited, at least on the pitching side of things, because I don't think pitching was a major question last year, but it was one of those spots you were worried at. You didn't really have your guy, and then after you threw your Friday pitcher, you were kind of in the slump for the rest of the weekend, and maybe not slump, but more in a confusing, rough patch. Omaha baseball is coming in today at 4, tomorrow at 2, and Sunday at 1. I believe this is their first ever 6-2 all time versus the Summit League teams, which is where Omaha comes from. Let me give you a breakdown of the pitching matchups. Friday today, Cade Anderson will take on Omaha's Braden Curtis. Cade Anderson 1-0, obviously 0 ERA. Shout out to him. Braden Curtis has 11 ERA. So, wow, that's rough. Could be a big day for LSU. Game 2 tomorrow, once again at 2 o'clock. LSU's Anthony Ianson, 1-0, 1.8 ERA versus Omaha's Ben Weber, who's 0-1 with a 12 ERA. Yeah! Now that one's rough. Game 3, as Sunday at 1 o'clock. Chase Shores, 1-0, 1.8 ERA versus Omaha's CJ Hood, 0-1, 9 ERA. ERA's earned run average. That means that Omaha's pitchers from Friday earned run average being 11, meaning he averages giving up 11 runs on the mound. Rough patch. LSU better have a damn day. I mean, Southern came in, got 10-run ruled in the 7th inning. I want to see about a 6. Let's just keep getting better every week. Jay Johnson did have a quote that I wrote down, though. He said, most got their first taste of the season, but it gets harder this weekend. Now, hopefully that's hypothetical coach speaking. He's just trying to motivate his guys, because hopefully it shouldn't be hard, because looking at the statistics, I think LSU's got a pretty damn good advantage. Let's talk batting. Let's talk scoring. Let's talk defense. Let's talk more numbers, right? LSU's batting .362 with 45 runs in 4 games. Their pitching staff has been blistering on the mound. .5 ERA, 52 strikeouts, and the opponent batting average is .142. Batting 142 in the box. Have fun. You're cooked. I don't think Omaha gets a single game on LSU. I think they stay undefeated. And ladies and gentlemen, you might have a championship squad you're watching. They're definitely probably on a run to Omaha. I don't know how the run's going to go, but it's starting to feel like this could be a national championship team. I know we're early. I know we've kind of played scrubs, but you can kind of start to see the gears getting turned. This is definitely a better team than last year for that matter. Let's talk about LSU women's basketball before we check out. Kept it close yesterday, not at the end. They got a nice victory toward the end, 16 points, I believe. 79-63, LSU women's basketball played Georgia in the PMAC. It didn't really break away to the late third when Florida hit that buzzer beater and it kind of started grabbing it out. I think it was a little bit of a slower game just because Anissa Moore was out. She had foot soreness. I believe she's going to be expected back for the Kentucky game. And Anissa is really, I mean, you losing your best player, your most well-rounded player, the player that has the biggest role on your team, yeah, your team's going to kind of slowly start. Yeah, your team's kind of going to be a little bit, not rattled, but a little bit confused, a little bit of growing pains. And I'm excited to see how they were able to respond to that. Flage had a great game, 21 points. Let me give some shout-outs to Big Foe right quick. That's her 37th straight game with double-digit points. Now, that's insane. Like, the scoring ability that she has and the depth that she's got on this team now, I think is it's interesting because now I'm not going to say the point guard position is 100% figured out because I think it could be a little deeper. But I think with people like Kaylin Gilbert, and obviously last year Poe, Shanae Wilson, all these pieces, you definitely are in a better spot than you were. Maybe not last year because obviously he had been listed on the team and all this stuff, but it didn't work out in a way that you thought it would have. And now Kaylin Gilbert as the 6th woman on the squad, I feel like her role is really, really solid. And the 6-man/woman role, it gets forgotten about a lot. People don't understand the aspect of it. And I mean, I guess I get it because when you hear bench and when you hear not starter, you kind of just automatically think that you're not in the top 5. You're not one of the best. But in all reality, there is a second unit that's going to go out there while those starters are coming off the floor that's equally as important as the first. The whole game matters. The whole team matters. The whole, approach with the backups coming in with someone who's well-rounded, probably good enough to start, similar to what, James Harden or Tyree Eason does. You got to be a team player and understand the role. And I think the role players on this team, they all are kind of coming together and facing one common goal. I mean, let's talk about the damn doubles. Yeah, there was a double-double. There was another double-double. That's doubles. Jersey Wolfenberger, Samaya Smith. Jersey had 16 points, 12 rebounds. Samaya had 11 points, 12 rebounds. That's another area. 2 role players who understand their contribution to this game, to this scheme, to this overall offense and defense. Samaya Smith, I think, is posed for a really big postseason. I think she's a great asset. I think she just had to be comfortable and get, a little bit used and trusting back to that knee. And just, I know that when you're healthy, it seems like nothing can go wrong and you're 100%, invincible. But then when that one big major injury comes through, you kind of start getting hesitant. You kind of start wondering, like, okay, can I plant this way? Can I do this? Can I do that? If it's in the back of your mind, I think it throws you a little bit. And I'm thinking Samaya Smith is slowly getting off of that. From a statistical standpoint, LSU won the rebound battle, the turnover battle. Let me talk about this aspect. We just talked about the bench. We just talked about the second team coming off and leading a successful unit. The bench points, the proof is in the pudding. LSU had 16 bench points. Georgia had 2. Georgia's entire starting lineup had to score every point damn near, but 2, while LSU was able to score damn near a third of or a quarter of their points from their backups. When your starters are off the floor and the energy stays and the points are continuing to be scored, that's how you turn into a tournament team. That's how you win championships, and obviously that's the focus. Kim said after the game, we all know our goal to win a title, and that road, it gets a little more real Sunday. They are on the road in Kentucky at number 14, 3 p.m. on ESPN. You better watch it. They got some implications here. The seeding. As of right now, LSU without a loss would finish as the number 2 seed. LSU with a loss would finish as the number 3 seed. Guess what? Both of them host an NCAA tournament in Baton Rouge for the 4th straight year. I've been at LSU as a college student for 4 years. This is my senior year. I'm graduating. I came in my first year. Kim Mulkey was here. I've watched an NCAA tournament every single year during my undergrad because of the run that they've been on. I need to just I understand how insane that is. Not a lot of teams get an opportunity to be in an NCAA tournament, but to host it 4 years in a row, shout out to them. That's the Mulkey effect. I'm definitely impressed, and I think LSU as a whole, whether it be baseball, whether it be women's basketball, whether it be football, and cross my fingers, hopefully soon men's basketball, they all turning up the fire. They all locking in. They're all close to a championship, and Scott Woodward in this athletic department, they hungry. They want more of these. They want more of these moments for the 3-letter brand. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll be live Monday at 9 a.m. again. Please hit that thumbs up on your way out. Y'all have a good weekend. This has been the Verdin Verdict, bringing you sports talk on the go. I'm your guy, Jacob Verdin. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.